U.S. President Donald Trump plans a historic phone call with Taiwan's President Ching-te, defying decades of diplomatic norms. Beijing reacts with fury, warning of destabilization, while Taipei welcomes the unprecedented engagement. This high-stakes move escalates tensions across the Taiwan Strait, signaling potential shifts in U.S.-China-Taiwan relations. In a development that could redefine diplomatic norms in East Asia, U.S. President Donald Trump has announced his intention to speak with Taiwan's President Ching-te. Such a move would break a more than four-decade precedent, as U.S. presidents have refrained from direct engagement with Taiwan's heads of state since Washington switched formal diplomatic recognition from Taipei to Beijing in 1979. President Trump's remarks came amid a delicate period in U.S.-China-Taiwan relations. The White House is currently evaluating a potential multi-billion-dollar arms package for Taiwan, a move that has raised tensions with Beijing. Trump, addressing reporters before departing for a domestic engagement, signaled a readiness to engage directly with Taiwan's leadership, stating, "I'll speak to him. I speak to everybody. We have that situation very well in hand." He continued, "We'll work on that, the Taiwan problem." For Taipei, the announcement was met with cautious optimism. President Ching-te has publicly stated that he would be happy to engage in a conversation with Trump, framing such a dialogue as an opportunity to reinforce Taiwan's commitment to peace and security in the region. Government officials emphasized that the conversation would underscore Taiwan's dedication to democratic principles while navigating complex geopolitical tensions. The practice of avoiding formal presidential contact with Taiwanese leaders has been a cornerstone of U.S.-China relations for decades. Washington has carefully maintained a policy of strategic ambiguity, supporting Taiwan's self-defense capabilities without formally recognizing it as a sovereign state. This approach has allowed the U.S. new 2K to balance its security commitments to Taiwan with the broader strategic interest of maintaining stable relations with Beijing. A direct conversation between Trump and Lai would challenge this long-standing framework. Analysts suggest that even informal discussions at the highest level can signal a significant shift in U.S. policy, potentially emboldening Taiwanese authorities while provoking a strong response from China. China reacted immediately and forcefully to news of the potential phone call. Chinese Foreign Ministry spokesman Guo Jiakun delivered a stern warning, stating, "China firmly opposes official exchanges between the United States and China's Taiwan region and firmly opposes U.S. arms sales to Taiwan. This position is consistent, clear, and resolute." China urges the United States to implement the important consensus reached during the meeting between the Chinese and U.S. heads of state, honor its commitments and statements, handle the Taiwan question with the utmost prudence, stop sending wrong signals to Taiwan independent separatist forces, and take concrete actions to safeguard peace and stability across the Taiwan Strait, as well as the stable development of China-U.S. relations. Beijing's stance underscores the seriousness with which it views potential U.S.-Taiwan engagement. Officials describe any direct dialogue between Washington and Taipei as a violation of the One China principle, warning that such actions could destabilize regional security and embolden forces in Taiwan seeking formal independence. Taiwan occupies a central role in the Indo-Pacific strategic landscape. The island is not only a thriving democracy, but also a critical hub for semiconductor production, contributing substantially to global technology supply chains. For the United States, Taiwan's security and stability are essential to both economic and military interests in the region. Beijing, meanwhile, views Taiwan as an inseparable part of China's sovereign territory. Any move by foreign powers that appears to recognize Taiwan's independence is treated as a direct challenge. This dynamic creates a delicate environment in which even routine interactions are subject to intense scrutiny. The prospect of a Trump-Lai conversation coincides with discussions in Washington about a substantial arms package for Taiwan. The United States has consistently supplied Taiwan with defensive weapons under the Taiwan Relations Act, a law enacted in 1979 to help ensure Taiwan's ability to maintain a credible defense. Current deliberations reportedly involve advanced missile systems, air defense capabilities, and naval equipment that would significantly enhance Taiwan's ability to respond to potential threats. Supportive legislators in Washington argue that strengthening Taiwan's defense is essential for regional stability. Critics warn that the scale and timing of such arms sales could exacerbate tensions with Beijing. China has already made its displeasure known by delaying approvals for Pentagon officials' visits to the region and signaling that any arms sale or high-level engagement with Taiwan could affect broader diplomatic negotiations with the United States. Analysts note that Beijing's approach is partly tactical. It seeks to preserve leverage of Washington while projecting resolve in its claims over Taiwan. Just a week before Trump's remarks on Taiwan, he completed a state visit to Beijing, meeting with Chinese President Xi Jinping. Taiwan was a topic of central concern during discussions, reflecting the enduring importance of cross-strait relations in U.S.-China diplomacy. While Trump emphasized caution during the visit and warned Taiwan against unilateral moves toward formal independence, his subsequent statements signal a willingness to engage with Taipei directly. This dual approach illustrates the broader challenge for U.S. policymakers to uphold commitments to Taiwan's security while managing a strategic relationship with China, one of the world's most powerful nations. The president's approach, blending assertive rhetoric with promises of engagement, may also reflect domestic political considerations. Support for Taiwan enjoys broad bipartisan backing in Congress, with lawmakers consistently advocating for arms sales and criticizing China's coercive tactics. By signaling direct engagement with Taiwan, Trump aligns with these congressional priorities while asserting an image of leadership and decisiveness on foreign policy. In Taipei, officials and the public are carefully weighing the potential benefits and risks of a direct conversation with the U.S. president. Supporters argue that high-level engagement reinforces international backing for Taiwan's security and democratic institutions. Critics caution that antagonizing Beijing could increase the likelihood of military posturing or pressure across the Taiwan Strait. President Lai has sought to strike a balance, emphasizing that Taiwan's future should be determined by its citizens and that the island's defense posture is primarily aimed at deterrence rather than provocation. Government briefings highlight that any conversation with the United States would be framed within the context of regional stability and continued dialogue with China, where the potential phone call carries consequences beyond U.S.-China-Taiwan relations. Other countries in the Indo-Pacific, including Japan, South Korea, and members of ASEAN, are closely monitoring developments, aware that changes in U.S.'s policy toward Taiwan could recalibrate security commitments, military postures, and alliances in the region. Japan, in particular, has expressed support for the status quo in the Taiwan Strait, emphasizing the importance of peace and stability. Regional defense analysts note that even a symbolic conversation between Trump and Lai could influence military planning and regional defense postures as governments assess the likelihood of escalation or the potential for conflict in a strategically vital corridor. As of now, no formal schedule has been set for a phone conversation between President Trump and President Lai. Uncertainties remain regarding the scope, format, and level of engagement that may occur. Even if the call is brief or informal, the signaling effect alone is likely to resonate across diplomatic channels in Washington, Taipei, and Beijing. Potential outcomes include a reinforced U.S. commitment to Taiwan's defense, increased pressure on Beijing to moderate its rhetoric, and a recalibration of strategic calculations in the Indo-Pacific. Conversely, any missteps or misinterpretations could escalate tensions, prompting military or economic responses from China. The evolving situation highlights the delicate balance of power in the region and the role of careful diplomacy in preventing unintended conflicts. Observers suggest that all parties are acutely aware of the risks involved and are likely engaging in a careful assessment of timing, messaging, and strategic signaling. The announcement of a possible presidential conversation between the United States and Taiwan represents a historic moment in East Asia diplomacy. It underscores the enduring complexity of U.S.-China-Taiwan relations, the strategic importance of Taiwan in global security, and the delicate balancing act required to maintain peace in a region of intense geopolitical interest. For Beijing, the development is viewed as a challenge to its core territorial claims and a potential threat to stability. For Taiwan, the opportunity offers a chance to strengthen international recognition and support for its democratic institutions. And for the United States, the decision over whether to proceed with a direct call alongside considerations of an arms package reflects the broader dilemma of asserting influence in a competitive and dynamic region. As policymakers navigate these high-stakes decisions, the world watches closely. Every statement, movement, and signal carries weight, and the outcome may shape the contours of Asia's strategic environment for years to come.